Hey there, fellow entrepreneurs. I'm Sue, and you've just stepped into Entrepreneurs Gone Wild. Every week, I'll introduce you to a friend of mine, a remarkable entrepreneur who's not just changing the world, but also harnessing a secret weapon, time outdoors. Together, we'll dive into their journey, unpack invaluable business advice, and discover why embracing the wild is not just good for the soul, but also a goldmine for inspiration and innovation. Ready to uncover the secret that's boosting bottom lines and fueling joy? Hit subscribe and join us in the wild. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to introduce Chloe Murdoch to you. She's a coach who's revolutionizing women's approach to food, body, and wellness. She guides women out of restrictive patterns, focusing on metabolism and menstrual health. Her soul-based approach has helped over 900 women tap into their femininity and fullest expression. There have also been 72 babies so far. So get ready to meet a coach who's transforming lives by helping women embrace their natural rhythms. Chloe, welcome to Entrepreneurs Gone Wild. I'm really glad you're here.
Oh, thank you, Sue. And I loved that intro, and I'm really excited to be here and to share with your listeners about entrepreneurship and everything in between.
Fantastic. Well, let's dive in. I kind of scraped the surface of what was going on, but talk a little bit more about the women you serve and the problems that you solve for them, with them.
Yeah, so I'll start here without really diving into my whole backstory, but I dealt with over a decade of eating disorders, everything from anorexia to orthorexia to exercise addiction. I myself lost my period for 11 years. And I always just knew, I knew a couple things from a young age. One, I was going to be an entrepreneur. That was set in stone. My dad is an entrepreneur. I saw my dad take 3 months off every single year to go to Costa Rica with us. We built property out there. My dad is definitely, that's where I get my love from nature. My dad's a big time surfer, and he's always out in the water. We're always out in nature. So my dad, from a young age, I remember him telling me, do everything you can to work for yourself. Do not work for another individual. And I have 6 siblings, and we pretty much are all entrepreneurs. One of them is a doctor, but he now runs his own practice. So it is a little.
It counts. The judges will allow it, right?
He went through the years of structured, really working up that ladder. But I just knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur. And when I got hit at around 14 years old with my own kind of disordered relationship with food and body, I had a really deep sense and inner knowing that this was going to be my life's purpose and work, was to not only figure this out for myself, but then to go on and figure it out for other people. So I eventually, when I was about 24 years old, was whoa, I need to wake up here. What has been going on? It was the first moment, Sue, that I actually kind of really woke up to my potential and to not even my potential, to who I really am. It's let's forget potential. It's who just I am as an individual and a being. And I was I can no longer live in this way where I am counting my calories every 2 seconds, where I'm so obsessive over my body, over my weight. My main goal and objective in life was to lose weight and to exercise more. And I just had this moment of, what am I doing? What am I doing? I meant for more. I meant to create impact. And so that is when I went on my own recovery journey. And I tell people, I'm the second I chose it was the second that I recovered. It was an energy shift, because that's all it is, right? It's finally stepping out of the energy of I'm not enough, stepping out of the energy of scarcity, of restriction, and really stepping into abundance, into wholeness, into enoughness. And in that moment, I finally just saw myself as if, say, God, or as if my parents were seeing me. I was finally seeing myself clearly, and I was oh, we're not doing that. So I kind of went through my journey, but I knew I was going to be coaching. I knew I was already kind of setting myself up for that. So was building my business. At the same time, I was showing everything in my journey. And then I quickly started just, you don't have your period, come and work with me. And I'm going to give you an inside view as to what this whole process looks like, not from the behavioral mechanical approach that more traditional approaches take, but I'm going to show you really what was the soul evolution that I had to go through to become who I am.
That's amazing. There's so much in there that I would love to unpack. I could talk to you 4 hours easily. That whole sense of that inner knowing, as you were going through this, you already had, your parents set you up for, this is what an entrepreneur does. We solve a problem that we didn't cause, right? We have a problem, we find the solution, we help others with it, and that stuck with you. And so even as you were going through this, you knew this is going to be the thing. That is just stunning, like amazing, that
Yeah.
inner knowing that you had. And now it's come to pass. So how has that journey been? Like all right, so you came into recovery from your own eating disorder. You're already helping these women. What happened then?
Um, Gosh, it is crazy when you think about it. I think when you're in the weeds as an entrepreneur and you're in the middle of building, you sometimes don't recognize it. Like even when you're like, you've helped 900 women. I'm like, have I? Like, yes, I have. And also sometimes I will like totally put out there and admit, sometimes I'm so focused on the what's the next step and how do I help more that I like rarely take that moment to realize that I have created such an impact. And not just the women that I've like directly worked with, but also the thousands of women that I've had in my, Instagram and my YouTube that have come to me and
Yes.
said that I've like radically changed their life. So the process of like stepping into entrepreneurship, ooh, it's been I will put it this way, healing from my eating disorders was my first big like self-development journey. Entrepreneurship was the next. It was
Mm.
like, great, let's go from one thing to the next. This has been the thing that has really pushed me to see like who I am and how I'm being in the world and how I work in the world. It has pushed me to higher levels of integrity. It has pushed me to like higher levels of just like clarity and structure and understanding. And it's just been a heck of a ride, really stepping into what it is to be someone who is running something, especially in my kind of niche, to be someone who is the person helping people run through a transformational journey.
Yeah, man. And then for you to, I love too, you hinted at something before. Once just like when you barely had started this, you knew that essentially documenting your journey was going to be like, hey, come on, girls, let's go, like that would bring people on. A lot of entrepreneurs are so scared to kind of go public with what they're doing until they've got everything all sorted out and all the ducks in a row and all that. What was that like for you that's a level of vulnerability. And, what was that like for you just emotionally and knowing like, hey, I'm starting this thing, ready or not?
Yeah, totally. I think it gave me the ability to deeply connect with my community in a way that I wouldn't have if I showed up as this perfect, like I got X, Y, and Z just perfectly all figured out. I
Yeah.
think the reason why I've been so successful is that people are like, you get it, you see it, you get it, you understand. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, again, they are wanting to kind of put that front and wait until everything is perfect. And I actually think just 2024, I think we're radically shifting that, where we're wanting to see the behind the scenes. We're wanting
Mm.
to see the messy. I was even on Instagram just the other night, and this one big kind of biohacker woman in the space who's making millions of dollars in the space, she did one of those little question things, and people kept on asking like, what's next in business, what are you doing? She's like, wow, I didn't realize you guys wanted to see that. It's messy behind here, but people have been like raving about all of the content that she's showing just behind the scenes of what is it like to build a supplement company, what is it like to actually like formulate all these formulas, right, meet with the scientists. So I think people are wanting to be more involved and less like, here's the picture perfect like thing, the perfect picture, perfect company and like
Mhm.
CEO, like they're wanting to see more of the human. I think it helps us connect. So for me, I think it's just, again, it's natural to me. I'm naturally vulnerable. I'm naturally like not ashamed of what I've been through. Rather, I've seen that everything I've been through is going to help me become who I need to be. So
Mm.
I actually switched it and I like see it as I want to make sure I'm sharing every single part of the journey because I want to be able to look back in 10 years and be like, look at the shift. Look at
Yeah.
the difference of who I am. And now we do this in wisdom. We don't need to be crying about all of our breakups online if that has absolutely zero relevance to your culture, to your community, to your company. But I think it's really with wisdom knowing how to weave you into the business so that there is more of that like I'm connecting to the entrepreneur who is running
Mhm.
this whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much because I think it's like the more ourselves we are, the more our people we're going to gather because they're like, we can spot each other, you know?
Yeah, I think authenticity, whether we're talking in a dating sense or whether we're talking in a attracting soulmate clients in, that authenticity is just something that is so attractive and people are so drawn to it. If you look at the like vibrational frequencies of emotions, authenticity is actually the highest. It's over joy, it's over love, it's over all of those kind of more common, like very happy kind of emotional states. Authenticity is the highest vibrational state. So
Amazing.
important. We really resonate with it.
That is so cool. I've actually never heard that. I love that fact. That is so cool. Man, all right. So what do your programs look like? Are there like I would imagine like you said there's 900 here, but the level of free people, people you've been able to serve for free just through the public content that you put out, that's incredible and it's probably way more than you'll ever know. But once somebody's kind of like in your world, how do they work with you?
Yeah, so I've had kind of two things. I've had my one-on-one where I'm really able to like deep dive with people and kind of walk them through this whole journey. Some people, it is quick. We are there. They need me for 4 months and we get them in a totally different place. Other people have really walked along this journey, diving into different elements, your relationship to money, your relationship to body, your relationship and intimacy and relationships. So my coaching has kind of expanded out quite a bit with those clients that I have worked with for a longer period of time. So I do have my like kind of one-on-one, which I'm really honestly stepping away from more and more and more and more because I've really found in the past couple of years that community is just such a game changer for
Mm.
people to be able to connect with other people who can see you, who can not have any judgment towards you because they know exactly what you're going through. They can encourage you. They can also like get you to transform faster because you see them, you're friends with them, you're connecting with them, you see them take a big step and you're like, well, if Hannah can, I can. And it just gets you to kind of like jump up and kind of quantum leap kind of a lot quicker in the whole process. So as of now, my main priority is getting people through my collective Get Your Flow On. And it's kind of a mixture of you have my course curriculum that is like 12 in-depth modules, is like over 80 lessons. I'm doing somatic work, I'm doing breath work, I'm doing meditation. I'm also giving them a ton of knowledge. What does it mean to actually work with your body? What does it mean to actually tap into your feminine energy, to soften, to step out of the rigidity? So I have kind of my course curriculum. Then I have the community, and that's like daily energy shifts. That's daily connection. That's sisterhood. That's kind of that community element and aspect. I go live in the community for group coaching 2 times a week. And then you have access to me literally 24/7 pretty much in my private chats for me to be there to like privately kind of mentor you and kind of guide you through. So I kind of looked at my own journey and was like, what did I need? What was missing? And I kind of just created the program that literally just kind of hit all of those buckets of like what people are going to need in this journey.
That is fantastic. I love how you were able to reverse engineer. Like, here's what would have helped me. I'm creating this.
Yeah.
I do know too, and I can see why you might. We'll head toward this now. Doing the one-on-one coaching can get, it's like deeply satisfying. But oh my goodness, there's one of you. Like, so
Oh
working with a
gosh, Sue.
group.
Yeah, there aren't any truer words than that. I mean, I think if we're going to bring this into kind of entrepreneurial speak here, you have to really look at scalability of your business. And there's a certain point where I remember I was meeting with like 30 clients a month. Like, it's just way too much. I should never be doing that, especially because my work is like deep emotional processing.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You don't just shake it off and go. It's like it sticks with you a
I
little.
have a really odd ability to do that, but it was like very in-depth, like every single day. And I had to really figure out, how do I nourish myself? How do I like make sure that my time is not spent talking about food because I'm recovered? I don't need to spend my time talking about that anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I think it's important to really understand your vision, what are you trying to do here? How many people are you trying to help? And you got to
Mm.
make sure that there's scalability in that business. So for me, I finally was like, I can't, if I want to help hundreds, thousands really is my goal. If I want to help thousands of women go through this whole recovery process, and I am just me, I have to do it in a way that allows me to work with multiple people at once
Mm.
and still giving them the results that I need them to get.
Yeah.
And for me, that's why I structured out the program in the way that it is, where I'm like, I need them to have those moments to connect with me, but that I can be standing in line at CVS and I can be answering messages. So
Yeah.
for me, my schedule feels very open and very free,
Mm.
but I can be there for a lot of people in a messaging format more than a 1 hour call. So
Yeah.
I think it's important to look at that if you're like building, how much do you need to charge for that? You got to reverse engineer all of that. I had someone come to me, I teach entrepreneurship, I teach sales. And I had someone come to me and she was like, I just want to do a low ticket for like $30. I'm like, you are going to have to sell hundreds, not just in that month, but in the next month and the next month and the next month. You're gonna have to sell hundreds of that course at like $30 or it was 150 or whatever it was. And I'm like, that's just not scalable. So
Mm.
you got to actually like make your program more complete, charge a little bit higher, and only get 5 people in a month to hit, say, a 20K a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredibly great advice. It's it's like there's such value in having an offer ecosystem of sorts, like, having it escalating so that you can serve people at a deeper level, but also, having that, a lot of it, as much as you can, having it evergreen, so you're not physically, personally having to do all that service every single day, because that's exhausting. And then you're worn out and you can't go serve the thousands or millions of people who you could. So
At that point, stay in your 9 to 5. Like it
mm,
will be actually a lot less energy and a lot less training, right?
yes,
Yeah.
true, for sure. So I know for a lot of people, this automations and, team expansion, those are the things that kind of make that scalability happen. Where would you say the growing edge of your business is right now?
Oh, I tell everyone all the time, I'm like, I need 10 of me. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually to the point where I think I need 10 of me. Now, the difficult part of this, Sue, is it's capital. It's okay. Do I trust that we're going to continue to grow? Do I trust in my system? Do I trust in
Yeah.
my lead generation enough that I can support other people, that I can put people on salary, that I can give people commission on, sales
Right.
calls and things like that. So, oh, I'm definitely at that point where it's like, do we grow? Do we move forward, or do we continue to try and do everything on our
Mhm.
own? And it's a real big leap of faith. But I will say this. So I've had my business for about 7 years now. 2018 was when
Mhm.
I finally formulated my LLC. Um, 2023 was my totally burn everything to the ground, destroy it all year. And the reason being was I had finally launched my course. This was the first time I was launching my course. It was like, well, 2021. So I'd gone through it for a couple years, but now it was getting so full, but then I burned out. And then I wasn't showing up, and then I wasn't selling. I also had no back-end systems. I had no strategy. I wasn't even getting people on sales calls. I was like, here's the link in my bio. I don't even know how I was successful, but I was. But I finally just, everything collapsed, and I got really fearful of like growing, hiring, and really like starting to push forward and delegating. And so I continued to do everything on my own. When I burnt out, I couldn't show up. I literally burned my multi-six-figure business to the ground in 2023. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I hardly took any clients. And that's when I actually contracted myself out to work with another entrepreneur to be in her system, where I was like, but I know entrepreneurship. I know breaking through of what needs to happen on a soul level and kind of a more self-development level for an entrepreneur. So I contracted myself out for her to be on her team. And I took the year off. I took it off because I was so done. And then now I'm hitting that point again where I'm like, Flo, if we don't grow, you're actually going to fail. That is a very like important thing to understand as an entrepreneur. If you don't keep on pushing it forward, you might be like, oh, 30K months, this feels great, this feels expansive. If you stay at 30K months for too long, you actually end up just going down. Your structures and your systems have to improve, you have to delegate. So I'm kind of in that, who that's really where I'm at. It's, I need the right person to come my way for me to like finally feel good about, let me delegate and let me hire someone to start doing my funnels, my marketing, my emails. I'm like, I don't want to write emails, I want to coach, I want to do what I'm good at.
That's fun. I don't want to coach. I want to do emails. So, but I get that. And there is that
Yeah.
sense of like, it's an uncomfortable feeling to find yourself, put your foot on the gas and your foot on the brake at the same time. It's like, this is herky jerky now, and it
Mhm.
that's the thing. It's like grow or die, and
Grow or die, just like
poof.
life, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, it's the biggest kind of self-development journey here, that you'll
Yeah.
really see that you're tested in so many ways that are
Mm,
just going to be great, amazing things for you to understand and learn in life. Like,
for
yeah, if you're not
sure.
consistently growing and progressing and having an open mind and being willing to let go and surrender too, like, if you're not doing all of those things, you are going to have a very hard time with building a great company that's creating impact in the world.
For sure. Oh my gosh. All right. So I imagine that these questions, these thoughts, they must, percolate in your brain where an entrepreneur's gone wild. So what happens for you, like to go outside and to process this kind of stuff? What's your favorite way to spend time in nature so you can, really get clarity?
There's something about being in nature that just like, I'm just obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed. I'm absolutely in love. I get a ton of nature time a day. I will start feeling very claustrophobic here in my house. I was writing emails all morning and I literally was sitting at the pool with my computer. So I'm like that type of person that has to get out. But, I think going back to that necessity as an entrepreneur to cleanse yourself, to literally like get really in tune to your intuition so that you're, yeah, we have the masculine frame and structure. We have our brain, right? We're super smart individuals. I think personally that if we are just using our brain and we are just in the masculine energy and frame, we're going to burn ourselves out because we are building just from our headspace and we're not bringing in the heart. I think it's so key before we build programs, before we build, one-on-one containers or whatever it is, we have to come in, we have to tune in. Heart, where is it that I need to go? What is it that I need to create? And then we can take it to our brain. So, nature for me is where I connect to my heart. That's where I finally go literally tech free. I will leave my phone in the car. I don't even bring it. I'm like, I gotta be tech free. I don't want any buzzing notifications. I don't want the Wi Fi near my head. I don't want anything. I want trees. I want sunshine. Sun is big for me. I want the sun
That's
and I want the ability to just my biggest thing is just walking. It's a walking meditation, the time for me to process, to think, and to finally for the first time in this world, right? It's like the nature time is the first time in the world that I get the, and then I get the downloads. I get the pings, I call them. I get the little pings of where I need to go, what I need to be doing, what needs to shift and change. I'm working with people's emotions, so I also get to feel into every single person, where are they at, how can I hold them more. It's so critical that I give myself these moments of just hiking, walking, running out in nature, laying out in the sun. We have pools of water. I'm a big water person. I'm a Cancer in astrology. I don't know how much I really like believe in all of that, but at the same time, like I'm opposed supposedly a water sign and I love water. It's refreshing, it cleanses. So I try and find water, I try and find sun, and that is like a absolute must. I do not exist inside, I exist outside.
I love it. That's
Try
great.
and do as
I mean,
much as I can. Well, and
yeah.
I started noticing that, okay, if I'm on calls all day and I'm inside, I'm getting like this. I'm just getting really antsy. So I started doing walk and talks with my clients. Or to be like,
So
grab
good.
your phone. I'm gonna grab my headphones. We're gonna go on a walk. They are on a walk, and I'm just processing because I'm in the sun and I'm getting the fresh air. And I'm not like anxious to get off the call. Rather, I'm like fully there. So I started adapting my whole kind of business to me knowing that I need a lot of nature time and I need a lot of like walking and just kind of like connecting in the sun.
That is incredible. I think like this, that is a huge, huge thing to design your business to fit your needs like this. And they're getting much better of you. You're feeling great. It's refueling you. I mean, that is beautiful. Like, wow.
I remember cracking up once with a client because she called me, and I remember I live here in Austin, and Barton Springs is our big like watering hole. It's kind of like our beach, right, where everyone hangs out. And my client was like, I really need support right now. I was like, yeah, sure, let's talk on the phone. I like literally just like FaceTimed her, and I was in my bikini and I'm laying out in the sun, and I was just like cracking up because, I am high ticket, like people pay me well to be with me. And I think the traditional world to look at that and be like, how unprofessional.
Right. You should be in a
How,
suit. I mean, come on.
yeah, how unprofessional, how wrong of you, how like your client deserves better. I'm like, no, my client deserves me at my best. And like, look at that. I'm able to provide instant access because I'm like, I can just support you here because I've made it where you can just FaceTime me. You can just call me. So I think it's owning just what you need. And it's like really understanding the work that you do. I'm great at what I do. So I'm like, it doesn't matter where I could be in an airport, like literally going through TSA, and I'm having an in-depth conversation with you. Now, of course, I'm going to prioritize my clients a little bit more than that, but being outside of nature is totally me prioritizing them because I'm like, I'm downloaded right now.
Yes.
I'm like totally not anxious. I'm totally like, I feel calm. I'm going to be a better coach to you. So I actually brought it up to her, and she's like, I love that you're in a swimsuit right now. And I'm like, yeah, I was cracking up. I was like, you just got to do
That's
what you
so
got to
cool.
do.
What a great way to process it. Because I know so many of us kind of like go, well, I'll go outside after. I'm guilty of this. It's like, oh, well, I got this and this and this, and then I'll go outside. But seeing like if we can prioritize that outside time, we end up being better and being able to do better because we're feeling better. And
And
that's
that's the key to entrepreneurship.
huge.
You
Yeah.
have to constantly be looking at what do I need to get better. My nighttime routine. I do
Yeah.
not touch my phone. I do not look at emails. I read my book. I have my little neon lights that are on. I like calm down, and I don't rile myself up because then I get poor sleep, then I'm tired. It really, like, if you want to be, I heard someone say this the other day. She's a good friend. She's done over $8 million. She's 24 years, she might be 23 or 24 years old, already done over $8 million on Instagram.
Wow.
Insane. And she was doing this little this entrepreneurship event for women, and she was like, I understood at a very young age that I needed to do what I needed to do. I needed to set my life up in the way that I could become the reliable woman that I needed to be to make $8 million. And I was like, whoa, I
That is
needed that
insightful.
reminder. Yeah.
That's like such great insight. Oh man. All right. Where can people find out more about you, Chloe?
Instagram is probably the best place to really get connected with me. I'm Flo with Flo on Instagram. I also have a YouTube as well, which is more of my longer form content. But if you're someone who has ever dealt with a disordered relationship to food and body, maybe you've lost your period, your hormones are like off balance and everything, or maybe you're looking to have a kid and you're having a hard time with your fertility, definitely reach out to me there. Send me a message. Tell me you came from the podcast. I respond personally to all of my messages. So it's a great place to connect with me.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we got to chat. This is going to really help some people. Hold on one second. I'm going to do a thing here. There we go. So cool. Oh my gosh. I really enjoyed that. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was great. I love chatting, and you have such a cool niche, and I love like kind of blending entrepreneurship and talking more about that. So it's great.
Yeah. Oh man, this is great. You've even given me like, oh, I need to, this is like some really, really
Okay.
fantastic brain buzzes. So
Good,
that
good.
is so, so cool. My gosh. All right. So I'm dying to know, like, what like how do you not have your emails done? Like what do you just like not like doing the writing? Do you just run out of time? Like there's so much you could automate in there and know that you like have a steady stream of really qualified people who are ready to work with you by the time they ever get on the discovery call. That
I know. I do shock myself. 2024 has been the year that I've finally been like structure, business, growth, scalability. Like
that's it.
I've evolved so much this year, but I really,
Yes.
quite honestly, have been successful just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Now I can't do that forever.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, I burned everything down in
It's a little stressful. Yeah.
2023. But like I have mastered, and that's why I like to talk about this, because I have mastered my energy and my just connection with my
Yes.
community, where that ends up being what sells people. But now I'm getting,
Wonderful.
I've sold to the easily sellable, right?
Yeah.
We've sold. Now we got to move on to
Yeah.
how do we sell to the 90% that are harder to sell to. When it comes
Yeah.
to all of that, I think quite honestly, and you're gonna crack up here, it's like I want to be outside and just like having fun and just like relaxing so much that I actually like have a hard time being like, this is Monday. We write these
Yes. Oh, girl,
Tuesday.
I get
We do
it.
YouTube on Tuesday. We do this. I've always had a really hard time with structuring out my life. Um,
Hmm.
and so I think it's not that I can't do it. I think I get overwhelmed being like, what do I need to actually really put in there on a psychological level to get people to close and to get people
Yeah.
to connect or to get people to click the link, whatever it is. And mind you, I'm also trying to tap into my creativity. I'm like trying to do Instagram. I'm trying to connect with everyone in the DMs. And then I'm
Yeah.
coaching, which is
Yeah.
like, that's my bread and butter, is
For
just
sure.
showing up for people. And so I will
Yeah.
prioritize showing up for my people over trying to get new people every day, all day.
Yeah. Oh, I get you. Like, my brain is going crazy because I know I can't help you with this. Would you like to hop on a call? And we can't do it
Yeah,
today, but do
let's do
another.
it. This is great. I love
Okay,
this. Yeah,
let's do that. Let's do that
great.
because that'll give
Yeah.
me time to go like put together a coherent plan as well. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be like, this is. It could be so
I
simple that you
probably
don't
miss
have to
out
do
on
it.
I probably miss out on a lot of leads, on a lot of stuff. I also want to just step
Yes.
out of my DMs. I don't want to be in my DMs at all. So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
putting the feelers out there. I want someone who knows eating disorders. Like that's like important
Yes.
to me because it's such a
It's
very specific
huge.
niche. You gotta like know how to approach
Yes.
things.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. And in some ways it's like we're lucky in that world because it's like there are symptoms you can point at and there are people are like, "Yep, that's me," you know. Whereas some of the things like entrepreneurship it can be a little bit mushy like, "Well, are you struggling with this? This is you don't have your period? Okay, here. You want a kid and you don't, you know."
Well, and that's
That
why I
is
really
oh,
focus on period recovery, because it is the
yeah.
one, because it is the rest of it kind of is mushy, because people are like, I'm not that
Yes.
bad. I kind of have hair loss. I don't know. People are like, you know how it
Yeah.
goes. But with the
Oh yeah.
period, I'm like, you either have a period or you don't.
It's exactly you have a yes or no answer here. Yes. Absolutely.
So
Oh my
that's
gosh.
why I like
Oh,
really
the
niche down into
possibilities,
that.
lady.
I know.
Yes.
Well,
So smart.
I
Oh my
honestly like
gosh.
I should be $1 million company at this point for what I do,
You
and I'm
should.
energetically, but it's
Yes.
really taking that leap of fucking faith.
The structure. Yes, the structure. And that is a hard thing. And I know how that is. Like this month
Yeah.
was great, but how's next month going to be? And if you had a system where you're like, I see, and we're
Well, and
ramping
then
this,
I
and
have
oh my
I have
gosh,
a
you know,
weird thing with my leads though. Like that is really my weird thing. And I think you would understand from being from that background of the eating disorder, there's a lot of restrictive mindset, right? There's a lot of
yes,
disempowerment. So I'm not working with an entrepreneur who's like, I'm empowered to build a company. I'm working with someone who is like, I don't even know what to do with my life. It's
right.
just a whole
Yes.
different like approach to the selling process, but I'm just,
Mhm.
I hit good months. We hit like, I think it was like in cash, so not revenue, but like, well, I think
Yeah,
revenue for like October, or sorry, not October, August and September was like 56. So it's like that's great.
that's
Like that's a
amazing.
one man show. Like that's I really just need a minimum 20K a month, but I do want to scale
Yeah,
into the 50, 100 eventually.
of course. Why would you not? I mean, this is
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
and it's
Why would
you
I
know,
not? So then I had like
yeah,
October was a little bit slower, but still we hit over 20K. And then November, it's the 13th. I've probably gone one sale. I've done like a $2,000
yeah,
sale with it. And
yeah,
then I get in
yeah.
my like
It's
my energy shifted, and
oh,
now
of
everything's gonna
course.
shift.
Yeah.
I'm working
I
on it.
get you completely. Yeah, I
Mhm.
get you completely. That's a thing. And it's hard to, when we have that weird thing going in the brain, like, it makes it hard to do everything else. But I think we can fix this. What's your schedule like next week? Do you,
Let's schedule a call.
yeah, let's schedule and we can talk for sure. Monday I'm out because I'm traveling, but all the rest of the days I'm home.
Cool. Where are you traveling to?
I'm going to see my mom in Sarasota. She's 78. So.
Are you in Canada? Where are you at?
No, I'm actually in Northeast Tennessee.
You're
right
not too
where
close. Okay.
Hurricane Helene came through, that was here. So
I don't remember if you had said Canada. I hope you guys are okay.
yeah, no, we're
Okay.
fine. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I I like Tuesday the 19th, if that's possible.
I like Tuesday. Let's
Like
take a look at
Tuesday.
that. How about, let me check this other thing. Would 10 o'clock possibly work for you?
Is that CST or
Oh,
EST?
sorry. Yeah, that would be Eastern, so that would be 9 your time, or I could, or even we could do 10 your time, which would be
Can
11
we do
mine.
10 my time?
Yes. And I will send you, let's see, so that's 11 my
Amazing.
time. I will send you a Zoom link and do that.
You do primarily emails? I mean, we'll talk about it soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, quick question. What primary emails? What was the question?
Oh, I guess we'll talk about it. I'll like
Yeah.
you know kind
Yeah.
of where I'm at. I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
How's the podcast been? I'm curious for you, like how podcasting has been. It looks like you're doing
I
well.
love it. I love it. I love it. Love it so much. This is like the favorite thing that I do all day. So, and I used to not want to talk to humans, so which is why I became a writer. But now I'm like, wait, it's actually really, really cool. And that whole community thing,
Yeah.
this is that. So,
Yeah.
I and I think just knowing my person so much, and I'm just hell bent on, like, there was the whole hustle bro, and so many of my people bought into that. Gary V, work your face off, all this kind of
Well, even
stuff.
the
And
just
it's
like the
like
boss
killing
babe
them.
mentality, and I'm like, I want the slow life. I'm doing this so that I can sit at the pool all day.
Yes,
Like I'm not in this
exactly.
to like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And you said it so well. It's like, if you wanted all that, you could just go get a job, go work on Wall Street if you want that.
Yeah, I was like, in
Like,
the
that's
slow
not the
moment, you
vibe I want.
forget because you're not gonna forget about your business. Like you can forget about a 9 to 5 when you're home. I never forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm still doing things all the time. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly, exactly. And so when I got to that point of realizing, like, I literally had a friend who dropped dead in his 40s, like an entrepreneur was gunning, and he dropped dead when he took a sauna at a vacation. I'm like, what the heck? And I don't want to see that
Very.
happen anymore, you know?
That's
So I'm
yeah.
like, people need that outside time. They need to, even if they're not outside, just get rid of the screen for a little bit, like so.
Love
So yeah,
it. Love it. Love
yeah.
it.
So
You work with people
this
one on
is
one or
yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I've had my writing business for 20 years now, and this is like coaches. That's my jam. Like, I get you. I've been a coachee so many times. It's like usually I end up working with my coach. So
Yep, yep,
it's
yep, yep.
wild, but
Love
yeah,
it. Love
but
it. Well, so great to
I'm
meet you
psyched.
too. I'm so grateful
Yes,
to
you
be on the
too.
podcast. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I saw you'd sent some referrals as well. I'm touching base with them. I'm like, hey, you should come on. So thank you. And
Beautiful.
I'll
Yeah.
send you out a Zoom, and this will be great. Thank you, Chloe.
Yay.
Have a
Okay,
great
cool.
afternoon.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.